All right, Colton, let's take a look at your paper. MLA format first. This is got to be the same size font, so make sure you make that the same size. Everything else over here looks good. The war against a cruel reality. It's all right. I know where you're going with it in the essay, but I certainly think we could be a little bit more creative with our title. So let's take a look at your introduction here. All right, so their first sentence is actually good, except let me give you one bit of advice. Never someone is really no one. So maybe just say, no one has ever been particularly delighted to willfully give up their innocence. That might be a better way to phrase that. And you would use his or her since it's someone, subject, verb, or pronoun, sorry, antecedent. So no one to give up his or her innocent. But yeah, don't say never someone. I would just say no one. So your tone thing, I would judgmental is probably what you're looking for. Serious uses tones of seriousness and judgmental, or judgmental tones. Serious and judgmental tones is probably actually how you'd want to write that. Of not wanting to succumb to becoming her aunt. I love the word succumb. The problem is not just turning to her aunt, though, as she is disgusted, also disgusted of all the adults she is witnessing around her. Don't mention the poem as part of this. So just disgusted of the adults she is witnessing around her. Then you get to your thesis statement, which is actually pretty good. That once one loses their innocence, they're exposed to a contaminated world. I like that concept. So hopefully we can dig deep in your body paragraphs with that. All right, so detail emphasizes how the speaker is unhappy with the possibility of failing the challenges she has made herself. So you use this example, which in a paragraph about detail, I think you need a lot more details, a lot more embedded quote type stuff here. She's struggling in her fight. She repeats win. Bishop repeats falling, comma. It implies a losing effort put forth by the speaker. Now, Colton, when you get to something like that, we're still kind of in the factual part of this. We haven't dove into the mean part of it, or the analysis part. You bring back the tone of seriousness, which is fine. Is present, which is it present with this, or just present overall? You got to give me an example of why it's present, and helps to exemplify strife from the speaker. Later, she notices while in the uncomfortable room that it's beginning to be bright and too hot. Don't say simply. I mean, yeah, I guess some things in a poem might be simple to understand, but it's supposed to be complex too. So just jump into the nerves, okay? Now, this is, again, very factual. You haven't really dove into the analysis part yet. And again, easily shows, be careful, because what happens when you put that on the AP test and that's not what it really shows? Now the person grading your test knows that you don't know. So, or knows that you couldn't guess the right answer. So be confident in your answer, but don't say things like easily, like duh, anybody could get this. Like, you don't want that kind of tone coming across in your writing. Shows the chance of a young girl being unveiled to a tainted truth. So when you look at a poem like this, or an ending like this, though, she is, again, unveiled to a tainted truth, but I don't think that truth is present in here like it is up here. So try to bring more of this down to here and utilize that thesis statement. You need a strong transition statement where you go from detail to imagery and what that means overall. So work on that. All right, in this paragraph, Colton is a classic example of lots of say and show, but not enough mean. So you get to the examples. So she conveys the battle the speaker is having within herself, which I think you'd be even more specific with that. So she reads this magazine, what she's feeling. She gives this idea. In this excerpt, one can picture the speaker's mental experience and her hopes turn into black nothingness, which I think you need to expand on. Also, there's this, which you can see highlights her drowning, but again, it's not only to yield to a corrupt world. But I still don't think you're taking it a step far enough. I think you got to keep going with this concept. Another sentence or two here, another sentence or two here, to really expand on this idea that you're trying to bring forth. I don't think it's strong enough yet as a look at imagery. So is there maybe another image in the poem that you can go back to that helps back this drowning up? or the blackness. Is there another image that you can look at? I really like that you focused on the National Geographic magazine though, with your imagery. I think that's a really good choice, authorial choice to do with this. So I like that idea, but let's try to add some more in. All right, so we go with point of view, which I think by far is one of the important pieces to this. So we look at point of view and explore this. So we talk about being 7 years old, but it's again 3 days and you'll be 7. Think about, though, it's not necessarily her, but someone talking to her, an older version of her talking to herself back then. So keep that in mind as you think about point of view too, because I think you could bring that up, the idea of sort of the going back in time and looking back at the scene and its relevance to your growth as an adult, and or your new beginnings. I don't know, something. You can bring that up, that it's sort of the idea of looking back at you at 7 years old. It's coming from a child, correct, again, but it's kind of looking back as well. I think you need to better back this sentence up. Be true to themselves, that they would wish their innocence away. I kind of know where you're going with it, but I don't think it's clear yet. So keep going on that concept. Back up here too. I know you said there was a serious tone. You don't have to use the word serious all the time. And you can even say, and the seriousness is exemplified as it usually comes hand in hand with adults, something like that. You don't have to say the tone of. We get that it's the tone if you keep bringing it up. So keep that in mind. This last couple of sentences here, I'll move down, is apparent this quote as the speaker is not taking this fight lightly, which, Rake reference Thor, is now putting a full effort into sustaining her innocence in a fight to avoid a wicked consequence. This is your best 2 sentences back to back. I really think this is strong, Colton, and you need more sentences like this throughout, where you actually say something and back it up and expand on it and really dive deep into it a little bit that you haven't done before. So really good effort here. Keep that up. As you look at a rewrite, those are the kind of more sentences you're going to need. All right, so good restatement of your thesis down here. Detail, note, wasn't it basically imagery that was the magazine? So I think maybe you got confused a little bit there. Use of imagery aids in foretelling the probable future for the speaker as well. I think that needs to be stronger. I mean, if that's all you brought up, then that's weak paragraph. So you need to be stronger with the concept that you brought up in there. Not to accept a terrible result from a newly acquired opinion of grown-up people. I don't know if you made this clear even in the point of view, so I don't even think you expanded on that. I like this last sentence, though. I was never won by simply laying down for the adversary. I like that sentence very much so, but I don't get that tone as you wrote about it too, so I think you can make that tone even more stick out with a good rewrite. So you have a tab issue right here you're going to have to fix, but everything else in the works cited page is correct. All right, a few things to work on, Colton. You have some glimpses of a really good paper in here, but we just need to keep expanding on those, digging deeper on certain things, and trying to get to the heart of the matter. So good luck on a rewrite.